And basically that's what James said in James chapter 1. It says, human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. And my guess would be that rarely, if ever, because I know it's true for me, have any of my angry thoughts led to very righteous actions. See, anger, of course, is an emotion created by God, but I think he intended it to be like a warning light on the dashboard of our car. It's to let you know something is amiss. But that doesn't mean we should then put it in the driver's seat and let it be in control. Essentially, we could ask the question, if anyone plans to murder someone, they really wanted to do it, and then at the last moment, they back out because of maybe fear of consequences, is that person still righteous before God? I think the answer obviously would be no. See, God wants righteousness on the inside, not just the outside. And Christ taught that the absence of committing physical murder did not by itself protect a person from God's judgment. He was saying, if you're angry with another person, you could be subject to judgment. And though it's the exact same word used for judgment in verses 21 and 22, it can't be referring to the exact same judgment. Because in ancient Israel, if a person committed murder, they received judgment from a human court. And the judgment for manslaughter, of course, was capital punishment. But the second judgment Christ referred to clearly has to be God's judgments, since there's not any human court who could condemn a person for evil motives without a corresponding act. And see, God, however, he knows our hearts. And he's the one who will judge us for our anger. And so even though anger doesn't necessarily have the same consequences of murder, God, I think, equates it with murder because it really is the seed of murder. You do know that the very first murder in the history of mankind was the result of unrestrained anger. Adam and Eve had two sons, Cain and Abel. And Cain got a little ticked off because God received Abel's offering but not his. And so in Genesis 4, it says, so Cain was very angry and his face was downcast. And the Lord said to Cain, why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what's right, are you not going to be accepted? But if you don't do what it's right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must master it. Did he master it very well? No. Because what did Cain do? He killed his brother Abel. See, what we got to recognize, folks, is in God's eyes, being wrong with others is the equivalent of not being right with God. Being wrong with others is the equivalent of not being right with God. We know that because the Apostle John himself actually said, whoever claims to love God and yet hates a brother or sister, they're not telling the truth about that.